going to show you today how to make these adorable little rock pools in seashells that I picked up off the beach. Right, this is a quick, easy and very cute little project. We're going to turn these shells that I picked up off the beach, I think it was Dawlish last year, pretty sure. We're going to turn these into little rock pools. So all we're going to need is some ultraviolet curing resin, and I've got this one from Let's Resin, nice and easy. I've got my ultraviolet lamp, and it's my usual little plug-in one. I've got some blue, because of course we're making water. I've got some sand, and I've got some shells and some pebbles. And that's it. Oh, we've got white as well. So, here we go then. First thing I'm going to do is paint the shells with some resin, and you will see why. I'm just going to put some into a pot, because we're going to brush this layer on. I'm basically going to varnish them. Now, this won't be a surprise to you, I'm sure, but when you're on the beach and you pick up a shell, it looks all beautiful, and then you get it home and of course it's dry and it's nowhere near as pretty. As you can see, I've started on the nose of this one already, so I'm just going to paint it with the ultraviolet resin to give it a glossy finish first of all, and you can see the colours starting to come out. And once this is fully coated, I shall put it under my ultraviolet lamp. I'll fast forward for doing the other one, of course, because you don't want to watch the whole thing twice, I'm sure. So can you see the difference that's made? Suddenly the shell has got all these lovely bands and colours in it. It's so much nicer than it had before. Right. Actually, I can do the other one while the ultraviolet is doing its magic on that one, can't I? Just need to keep remembering to move my resin out of the way, my little pot, because what we don't want is it curing in the pot. So there we are. Gonna need to move it around a little bit. I'll pull it back actually so that it's covering a bigger area. Okay, let's do the other one. Right, while those are curing up, which won't take long, I'm going to mix up some colours. And the colours I've got obviously are the blue and the white. So the white is going to be like sea foam, the blue is going to be the water. So I think the little bit that I've got in the pot still will be the blue, and I'll mix up some fresh to be the white. So back with you in a moment. Yep, that's curing up really nicely now. There we go. So we've got some nicely varnished effect shells. Of course it'll protect them as well. Here we are. Right, let's start our little rock pools. Just going to push my lamp out of the way. So I don't know whether these will be deep enough to make trinket trays or whatever. I don't know really. But the first thing we're going to do is put our base in. You could use just sand off any old beach. Somewhere you've been on your holidays would be nice. But in this case I'm using coral sand. It's the stuff that they use for making marine fish tanks. If you've seen some more of my videos, you'll probably know that sometimes I have my fish in the background. I don't have marines, they're too much trouble frankly. Fantastic creatures, but they do take so much looking after. So I've got freshwater tropicals, although they are in like a marine tank setup. Now I'm just picking some little stones to make the back of my little rock pool. Trying to get them to sort of match in terms of, you know, are they plausible as being in the same rock pool together. So let's have those. And I've got some little tiny shells as well, so we're going to put those in like so. Then it's just a case of adding in inverted commas, water. There we are, that'll do. Right, I've poured out some of the ultraviolet resin into these little pots. First one, I'm going to add the tiniest drop of blue to. Now remember, if you add too much colour to ultraviolet resin, there's a chance it won't cure because of the light not being able to get through, particularly if it's an opaque one like the white is. Yeah, because the ultraviolet light's got to be able to get through it, hasn't it? Otherwise it ain't going to cure. Right, let's have a little bit of blue. So there's my blue. Just wipe my cloth. And here's the white. And then of course we've got clear still in the bottle. So there we are. So the first thing I'm going to do then is put a load of clear in fact. Now ultraviolet curing resin isn't overly happy about curing if you do it too thick. So I am going to do a bit at a time and cure it up. So just getting some into the bottom here. Get our rock pool started, and as you can see it's starting to bring out the colours in the pebbles, the inside of the shell, any bits of the inside of the shell that we don't quite cover when we're doing this. I am going to just give a coat like I did the outside. So I'm just going back and forth because I want to get like a bit of a coating on everything too. There we are. Just give it a little bit of depth. So you can see they're starting to look like little rock pools already. Right. I'm going to pour some blue at this edge. And let it settle. So all around the outer edge like so. When I say settle, I mean it's going to, as you can see, it's starting to blend in with the rest of the water. I'm just going to destroy this little pot now, squeezing it out. Yeah. And I'm going to get just a little cocktail stick and give it a bit of encouragement to mix. I want it to just flow over the sand just a little bit, like so. Okay, so we've got a bit of blue. Let's get that cured up. And that should cure quite easily because it is quite thin. There's not that much colour in it. Not worried about bubbles. In fact, you know, this is the sea. It is perfectly fine if it's got bubbles. I'm sure there are bubbles in rock pools. Okay, that probably hasn't cured all the way through, but it will have sealed the surface. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back in with a layer of clear, which I'm going to let self-level. And basically I'm going to pinch my little pot up like this so I can do a really fine drizzle of it. And what I want to do is get it so that it looks like the water is kind of washing around the shells and things like that. that started to flow a bit better towards the end of that. Right, some of you will be familiar with my tiny leaf blower. Oops, this just saves me blowing it with my mouth because I'll get out a puff. So what I'm doing here is just blowing the white back, basically. The link to this little leaf blower will be in the description below. It's just a nice handy little cold air blower for when you don't want hot air. And right now I do not want hot air. Now I wanted a bit more white in it than that, so I'm just in places anyway. So I'm just going to put a dot in each, and I'm going to trail that around with my cocktail stick, and then I'm going to get in quick and cure it. You see what I mean? Just wanted a little bit of definition around the rocks. Same here. Just a little bit of definition. You know, we've got the water swirling around the rocks and the seashells. Actually, that's looking really nice. I might do a little bit more. And this is pigment. This isn't alcohol ink, by the way. This is a set I got from, can't actually read the brand name on this. It's just called Resin Colorant. I'll track down where I got it from and put you the link. But alcohol ink probably would have worked just as well. I'm sure most of your regular brands of pigment too. I just kind of wanted to get this weird rippling effect on the surface. See? So it looks like the water is swirling around the shells. So when I've got the effect I want, which I think that's probably good enough, I'm going to zap it with the UV light again. And then all that's left really, because as you can see it's flowing over the edge, I've definitely filled my shell up. All that's left really is a good clean up and just putting a final coat, you know, just that varnishing coat effectively on the edge of the shell. Look, I've made a blob. I love how quick this stuff sets. It's just a case of having a clear up really. Right, lamp out of the way. Final coat, and this is the one that's going to be brushed on, and it's going to go all up the sides as well. So this is only a thin layer just to seal it. And to give the rest of the shell that shine. So I'm just putting a little bit on. And I've got an old paintbrush that I don't care too much about. You can clean your paintbrushes after doing this, by the way. Wonder Wipes do it. It can be a bit hit and miss. I mean, if you've got only a bit on there, you're probably okay. But this brush has been really soaked, so it's going to take some time to clean that up, I'm sure. Okay, there we are with that one. And there we go. Now, of course, you can get little resin fillers of little starfish and all sorts to go in these, can't you? But I just wanted to use, you know, what I've got kicking around. So there we are. Just going to seal those off, and then I'll take them away and do some photos for you. So a nice, quick, easy little project. I believe ultraviolet resin is relatively safe. I tend to wear gloves anyway. But I think this is a project you can probably get away with your kids carefully. But there we go. So thank you for watching this video. It was a little fun one. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you for the next one. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much to those of you who are subscribing. I will be interspersing the big heavy duty projects for little fun ones like these as well. Happy crafting all!